Hello everyone, this is Brian Bentley at CoinOpTV, bringing you gameplay and commentary for Hand of Fate on the Xbox One. Developed by Defined Entertainment, this game is an indie game that's, let's say, three parts. There's the story elements, there's the action bits, and there's kind of this trading card element, you'll notice. So as you're going through the game, there are 4 suits, and each suit represents a particular type of enemy. All right, so this is the level for the Jack of Scales. Now the Jack of Scales is the lizard men. So that's one. The lizard men are one suit. The rat men are a second suit. The bandits are a third suit, and the undead are the fourth suit. The decks that are used are made up of cards that you collected. So here I'm looking at the weapons that I have collected. Now here's some garbagey weapons that I have. Here's a mace. A lot of times mace has holy on it. Works against the undead. Depending on the kind of axe, sometimes axes work better on ratmen. Was it ratmen or the bandits? Whatever. And then the encounter cards are sort of like, if you ever play the game Munchkin, they're sort of like door cards. You know, you flip one over and then something happens. So we're going to get the game started, and there's going to be a little flourish here. He also puts his own cards into the deck, which are basically there to, well, punish you. Although he does throw in some merchants and shops and stuff that you can go to, and there's kind of like this action interface for those shops that you use also for the combat. So then you have the cards that your weapon cards, your encounter cards, and then sort of lays it out in this maze / format.
There is no weapon
now, I had mentioned that there's these combat elements. Now that usually involves attacking, lizard men or rat men or whatever, or the undead. In this case, the maze of traps really isn't a there's really no battle, but it does give you a really good idea of what the action elements part is to it. So, excuse me, on the left side of the screen, you'll notice there's my health, my food, and my gold. Which the food and the gold the gold may be used during that time, but so there's that. Above that, on the left, are my curses and my blessings. In this case, there's some curses. These are, things that he's done to me so that I have to, things you have to live with, like extra burden, or every time I went through an encounter with enemies, then I lost money or some goofy thing. Anyway, there's, there are some controls that you kind of have to get over. But, a little patience goes a long way in this level. And then I'm going to finish up, and then you get some rewards. Yeah, so that's kind of the maze of traps. I just kind of wanted to give you guys an idea of what... Not everything is all about combat, You'll go through... And
I'm sure
you'll get some, okay, I got some gold. Oh, hey, look, I get to buy a piece of equipment. So then I lift it out of the cards that I put in earlier we had looked at. Those are my weapons. I got a piece of that. All right, so now we're going to go on, and then there's sort of these other story elements that could happen to you, right? In this particular case, it's called Stranger in the Shadows, and at first you don't really know what's happening. And the whole idea behind this part of the game, you see the little token floating, is the cards are supposed to represent ideas that you have, or memories that you have. So somewhere along your memory, you met this guy, the stranger in the shadows. And now that we've gone through it, we have the memory again. So that is going to then further the story later when we get to collect on that token. It'll burst, burst open, I guess is probably the best way to say it. And it will reveal another card. That card is the next step in that memory. So that's kind of how that works. Now I get into a Ratman hunting, which
bet
means
you're
I have
thrilled
to
to
go
see
fight
Jack
somebody.
again.
Now, the Jack of Plague is someone that I defeated already. I already defeated the Jack of Plague, but those cards start coming back. So Jack of Plague, he was a boss fight in a different level, and now he's just a regular character that I have to take care of. So now we're going to go in here, we're going to fight us some, we're going to get into the actual battle part. Now, you'll notice that there are indicators above my head and above the enemy's heads at times. There's the green indicators, which I can block. It's sort of like a, like I can parry or block, and then I, dive into a whatever and do a move. So I can do that when it's green. Now when it's red, it's an unblockable move. And see right there, I wasn't able to counter. But once you kind of, dodge around and he does, his moves that of course, just like on another video game, you recognize that means he's going to be like, oh, and he's going to he'll have a second, I can swoop in for the kill. So then I defeat this guy who's now more of a mini boss than an actual boss in this particular level. Kind of like the, kind of has a punch out effect, where, you beat Piston Honda to get the minor league trophy, and then you move on.
Our lives are often lived
now,
fast
here's another
enough.
interesting opportunity. It's called
Pushed
Calling the
back and
Ratmen.
forth
So,
by the
in
whims of
theory,
nobility or power.
it will cut down on the number of Ratmen that are I'm trying to think of what to say, that appear later on in the game, but I don't have 50 gold to give them. So I'm forced into a refusal, which means I don't get the coin and continue the, continue that line of memory. But now we're going to have an ambush, and it's good because we have some Ratmen, 4 of Plague, which is 4 of Ratmen. There will be 4 Ratmen, and 2 of Scales, which are the Lizard Men. So we're going to get into a little fight here to end the video. But I really want to focus here on the Ratmen are a huge increase in difficulty, and then the fire aspects. So there are, depending on the level, there may be what do you call them, parts of the environment that are against you. Now, the environment is attacking. You'll also notice that there is a thing that comes above my head that means a projectile's coming. And I have a chance to block it. So it's interesting because like I said, the Ratmen are much more difficult opponents, and I'm still stuck with this.
I always admire a man who can turn an enemy's force
I'm stuck with this, this axe that just doesn't cut it, So sometimes I will admit that the cards aspect is fine, but I got a better shield, but I'm stuck with this axe that just is not very good. All right. So sometimes I understand the whole idea of, all right, we want to push you into the hand of fate, but the problem is sometimes it really works against you, especially now when the Jack of Scales level, the difficulty ramps up really, really fast as comparative to anything else. Well, what isn't difficult to know is that you want to continue watching here on the CoinOpTV YouTube channel, and the best way to do that is by subscribing, of course. You do that by clicking on the subscribe button below the CoinOpTV on this video, or next to it, I suppose. And while you're here, be sure to like the video. That gets a little thumbs up. That way we know that you're a part of the community, and we love having you a part of that. While you're here, be sure to leave some comments below, and we will respond, because we love having you and doing the comments. So I'm off down the stairs and continuing later. See you, everybody.